A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Ishi Galson. In our top stories this week, His Majesty grants audience to the 26th batch Desups who completed their training from Tenchuling. Health officials say about 10% of women are likely to experience depression after childbirth. And Team Nepal wins the Bhutan Zimdro Open Golf Championship. His Majesty the King granted an audience to the Desups who completed the 26th batch Desung training program from Tenchuling on Sunday. The 111 men and 14 women volunteers completed the 2-week training which ended on 16 September. The 2-week program was attended by executives from the civil service, autonomous agencies, corporations and private companies. With this batch, a total of 3,128 Desups have undergone the training since the program was initiated in 2011. His Majesty returned to Thimphu after a 10-day tour to Ha on Saturday. A Japanese team of experts successfully conducted a pull-down test of rammed earth structures as part of an ongoing scientific research in Bhutan to constructing earthquake-resilient traditional buildings. The test is one of the activities of the joint project between the government and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA.
One of the prerequisites under the evaluation and mitigation of seismic risk for composite masonry buildings in Bhutan project requires this test, a pulling down of the rammed structures. According to experts, this will help them assess the characteristics of rammed earth structures and effectiveness of stranding.
We'll test two separate tests. One is with reinforcement, one is without reinforcement. We can see the difference, the maximum load of two tests. We will know the importance of floor reinforcement in this test.
With technical support from Science and Technology Research Partnership for Sustainable Development, the test result is also likely to benefit agencies such as the Department of Disaster Management in risk reduction.
Till now, we don't have any code or guidelines for the rammed structures in the country. So that's why the building that was constructed long time ago or the buildings that is going to be constructed in the future, we don't have any guidelines to be followed. So that's why this guideline, after testing this experiment like pull down test, we need to come up with the guideline so that we can give to the communities to follow for the any preparation for any events in the future.
As per the recent statistics, 66% of households in the country are traditionally built using indigenous materials and techniques which do not have specific code of standards. One of the implementing organizations, Department of Culture, said it would also help them guide citizens to improve the seismic resilience of traditional houses without compromising the aesthetic values.
If you look into the housing typology construction, it's either rammed earth or stone masonry. And till now there is no scientific data on the construction of rammed earth or be it stone masonry. So we are doing scientific tests so that we could preserve the traditional knowledge system of Bhutanese construction typology.
A considerable number of buildings constructed of indigenous materials and techniques were destroyed due to earthquakes in 2009 and 2011. Since then, it became a critical task for the government to come up with earthquake-resilient traditional houses guidelines. For seismologists, this part of exercise has a definitive link which can help them to create a zonal seismic hazard map.
This microzonation is very relevant to what it's doing here. Looking at the site-specific, because ground behavior can be quite different from one place to another depending on the type of site. So basically there's a strong link between what we are doing in terms of looking, assessing the seismic hazard and what they are doing to strengthen the structures.
Once the project is complete in 2022, the government is expected to be well equipped in terms of seismic or earthquake disaster and mitigation of the composite masonry buildings across the country. Sonam Funso for PBS News.
Retail shops must now ensure that bakery items on sale are stored under the right conditions. The Bhutan Agriculture and Food Regulatory Authority issued a notification on the food safety practice recently.
BAFRA officials said bakery products are often displayed in retail shops for longer duration without maintaining the required storage condition. This, they say, is a serious food safety concern, as such products are highly prone to quick spoilage.
The bakery products, if they are kept for a long period at high temperature, they get spoil easily, and this may cause food poisoning.
As per the notification, perishable and high-risk food items must be stored under the required temperature of 15 to 20 degrees centigrade. Bakery items containing custards, meat or vegetables, frostings made from cream cheese, whipped cream or eggs must be kept under the recommended refrigeration condition of 1.6 degrees centigrade to 3.3 degrees centigrade. The authority said they will check the implementation of the practice as part of their routine inspection. Necessary actions will be taken on defaulters as per the Food Rules and Regulations of Bhutan 2017. For Pema Seldin Tring, Passa, BBS News.
Those working in the education sector can now opt for opportunities outside the profession. Since last month, the Education Ministry lifted the freeze on issuance of No Objection Certificate or NOC for those looking to switch to other civil service positions.
The ministry had to freeze the issuance of NOC as no replacement was provided for those who changed their profession and for those who went on various leave. Without the replacement, the Education Ministry says the schools had to manage the shortage, causing inconveniences to both teachers and students. The national contract teachers will now replace those who go on leave or leave the profession. The ministry lifted the freeze after the Royal Civil Service Commission approved the replacement.
But now that it's lifted up, we can go around, explore. If we feel we have talent and skills to move outside of the school, and then if you can contribute to the society more outside school, then we can always do that. So in this way, I think it's very it's benefiting us a lot.
I think we are very, very happy because not only me, but there are many colleagues who are in the schools, and they were still saying that okay, they would look for other jobs if given a chance. We are feeling like the government is somehow treating the teachers as the same civil servants like other ministries and agencies.
But they can apply for jobs only in few selected ministries, autonomous bodies and government agencies as per the RCSC's Superstructure Manual 2016.
To institutes like the Royal University of Bhutan, then Royal Education Council, Big C, then in Ministry of Labour and Human Resource to look after the technical education, where many of the technical training institutes are being taken care. They can join ACC also. They can join.
The ministry issued 2 certificates after the freeze was lifted. As per the notification, employees requesting NOC should route their application through the schools and Dzongkhag or Tromde administrations. This is Sonam Choden, BBS News.
The iconic Clock Tower Square in Thimphu will soon undergo a major facelift. Thimphu Tromde will spend 5 million ngultram for the planned renovation. Tromde says the Clock Tower Square is the most used area within the Tromde area for major events and programs.
The Clock Tower Square lies in the heart of Thimphu city. Before the tower was built in 1987, the area was used as a parking space. Tromde says the clock tower is now dominated by tall buildings around, and the area has not seen any major maintenance so far except for repairs of few tiles and marbles.
Since clock tower is one of the icon within the city where most people come, most of the events happen, so we felt that now it's time that we renovate, maybe increase the height of the clock tower to maybe same height as the buildings or even higher, so that it will be giving a very imposing look to the location.
He said that along with the increase in the height of the clock tower, other features in the area would be developed as well. The water fountain that does not function right now will also be renovated. The Thomde has already floated an open competition for an innovative architectural design of the clock tower square worth 100,000 Newton. The development works are expected to be complete by mid of next year. Kiladim, BBS News.
Postnatal depression is one of the forms of depression. Also called postpartum depression, it is a type of mood disorder associated with childbirth that affects both sexes, but is more common in women. While there is no official statistics, health officials say about 10 to 15% of the childbearing women are likely to experience postnatal depression after childbirth.
This is 27-year-old Pelton. She knows what it is like to be hit by postpartum depression. 3 months after the birth of her first child, Pelton found herself battling the disease.
3 months
I would suddenly feel extremely sad. I also had problems sleeping and would be up until 2 in the morning. It would get better in the morning, but towards the afternoon, the same sad feeling would overwhelm me again. I didn't even feel like staying at home. All sorts of negative thoughts would come. It felt like I was going to die the next day and would find myself crying as I stare at my baby.
Not knowing what was happening to her, Pelton one day decided to look up on the net. That is when she learned that she was suffering from the symptoms of postnatal depression.
I came to know that it happens to many women, which made me feel better. On the internet, I read stories about women in other countries struggling with postpartum depression. That self-awareness and realization that I was going through the same helped me to control my mind.
Apart from extreme sadness and sleep disorder, other symptoms include lower energy, anxiety, eating disorder, and crying episodes. Doctors say the illness can manifest in various forms. In some, it can be mild and moderate and goes away without treatment. But in some cases, it can be severe, which can lead to other serious forms of depression. Many in the country do not know about postpartum depression. So the mothers end up not knowing they are suffering from it, let alone seek medical help.
Lack of awareness about depression per se, and more so postnatal depression. Our people cannot really understand that women after childbirth is vulnerable or high risk of depression. They don't know that. They know that women are compromised to the large extent physiologically, loss of blood and all that stuff. But I think they are less aware of the emotional the vulnerability of women after childbirth.
Severe cases of postpartum depression, if not treated, can also negatively affect the growth and development of children. Though rare, Dr. Senchudoji said in extreme cases, mothers would feel suicidal.
Sometimes if the depression is too severe and the mother thinks that the child is a burden to her and to the family, she herself is a burden to herself and her family, that everybody has to help them, and they are becoming very helpless and dependent. And out of the guilt, she might like to kill herself. And before that, she might like to kill her child, so that she thinks that both the problems will be over.
Globally, 13% of the women experience postpartum depression, and it is more common in developing countries, with almost 20% of women affected by the illness. Pupgam for BBS News.
Most of the older Bhutanese are short on savings. This is according to a research conducted by the National Statistics Bureau. The study was done to understand the situation of elderly citizens in Bhutan. The report, which is the first of its kind, was released last week. Majority of the elderly Bhutanese do not have any savings. According to the study, over 72% of the elderly reported lack of savings. Only around 20% reported to have savings. This data was collected from a questionnaire survey conducted in 8 districts. 150 elderly citizens were surveyed. The report also states that more elderly in towns have savings than those in rural areas. This is one of the many findings the study on understanding elderly Bhutanese citizens discovered. The survey was conducted using in-depth interviews, focus group discussions, and questionnaires. The study was conducted to investigate and provide deeper insights into the social, economic, and other vulnerabilities of elderly people. National Statistics Bureau shared that this was the first such survey to be done in the country. Yishigalton, BBS News. Bhutan imports dozens of varieties of chips, and it is popular among people from all walks of life. But people are least bothered about the waste that it generates. The chips are packaged in plastics, which take years to decompose. However, Happy Chips, a local chips producer, does something to take care of their waste.
This is where Happy Chips make their produce in Changzamto in Thimphu. 1,000 packets of chips come out of this unit every day. And with it comes 1,000 plastic packets, which contributes to never-ending waste. Though profit-driven, the unit takes equal responsibility in preventing waste generation. One bag, one item on its packet says it all. If people return an empty packet to the shops selling Happy Chips, they will get 1 item. And Happy Chips pay 2 item for every empty packet that shopkeepers collect.
Typically, if you see an empty food trap or any waste for that matter, people would put the blame on the consumers, and rightfully so. But I feel like the liabilities shouldn't stop there, because as a producer, we're equally at fault. I feel like as a responsible manufacturer, we have even greater responsibility to reduce, reuse, and recycle the waste we produce.
And it has been this way for 2 years now, since the Happy Chips hit the market.
I think by the end or the starting of 2018, I think there will be increase in the number of people who are coming to return back the bags, and that may be due to the understanding that we must now preserve our nature. Firstly, because due to the global warming and everything now, people are feeling that that is what we can do in a little manner to preserve our environment.
The packets then collected are given to Green Road Project, who uses it to blacktop the roads.
Our goal is to support Bhutanese farmers and strengthen the local economy through reduction on imports, while producing a product free from chemical and additives, and along the way be as environment friendly as possible.
The message is loud and clear: eat chips, but save trash. Samton Dolkar, PBS News.
Only around 700 meters of solid rock cliff is remaining to connect the Gelpojing-Nganglam highway. While the formation cutting works from Gelpojing side has already been complete, work from Nganglam side has been delayed. Around 700 meters of solid rock cliff is now separating the Gelpojing-Nganglam highway. Formation cutting works of the highway was supposed to be complete by April this year. But officials said solid rock cliff, shortage of labor, and frequent breakdown of machinery at the site hindered the work progress. The project is now planning to deploy additional machines and increase the labor wage rate to complete the entire highway by the end of this year.
There are labor scarcity, labor problems. So we have problems in managing labors. It is because the other locally available jobs are paid higher than our current rate, 400 per day. So we have accordingly requested the regional office Lingwithang Dior to increase the wage rate from 400 to 500. So I think we are yet to receive the approval from the authority.
Construction of the 75-kilometer highway began in 2006 and was supposed to be complete by 2013. Officials explained rugged terrain, long rainy seasons, and distance exceeding the actual surveyed length are some of the reasons that held back the work's progress. The Government of India is funding the project worth over 1 billion ngultram. Compiled for Tiledoji in Pemagatsal, Yishigalson, PBS News. Rampaging elephants have been wreaking havoc in Lower Tashichuling Gewok in Samsi. The animals have destroyed crops and properties. For instance, the elephants damaged over 100 areca palm trees belonging to a household in Peljoling B recently.
53-year-old Pemalhamu is worried after she lost more than half of her palm trees to elephants. Areca nut is her only source of income after her husband died 3 years ago. She said it took about 8 years to bear fruits, and when the trees were finally ready, elephants destroyed it. She came here in 2001 after receiving 5 acres of Kidu land.
I'm grateful to His Majesty the King for granting me land Kidu. I planted palm trees as my source of income, but my hard work became useless. The trees were bearing fruits for the first time, but the elephants destroyed everything. I'm really worried since I am a single mother. The elephants came for 4 consecutive nights. My neighbor did not come to help me, but a boy did. But it was difficult since it was raining heavily.
Her hope of earning additional cash comes crashing down. Cultivating paddy is out of question. No one here grew paddy because of elephants. Meanwhile, she eagerly waits for compensation from Royal Insurance Corporation of Bhutan as she insured her trees. Forest officials also said she will receive 150 ngitum for every fruit-bearing trees that were lost. But the amount will be paid only next year by the Community Elephant Conservation Committee formed last year. For Damchazam in Samtse, Samten Dolkar, BBS News.
Team Nepal won the Bhutan Zimdra Open Golf Championship. Bhutan settled in the second place. The 4-day tournament ended yesterday. More than 70 players from Bhutan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Nepal took part in the championship, sponsored by Zimdra Industries Limited and Bhutan Olympic Committee. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.